Stay on top of the news with Kaieteur Radio's main newscast, Monday to Saturday at 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and 7 p.m. You can join us Sunday too for the Weekend Review at 10 a.m. Remember to stream us online at www.kaieteurnewsonline.com or the MyTuner app, Radio Garden app, and you can also join us on Facebook at Kaieteur Radio. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
This is the news on
Good morning to you and welcome to your main newscast for today, Sunday, September 26, 2021. Of course, you just had your weekend review of where we recap all the top stories we've carried over the past week. And it's now time for us to turn our attention to your news for today. My name is Joshua Van Slijkman and I take this opportunity in saying thank you for joining us. Guyana would be dancing with resource-cursed devil if it ignores consequences of secrecy in oil sector, according to RAM. In light of the amount of data which shows secrecy and in the global oil sector that have resulted in some of the most shocking cases of corruption, chartered accountant and attorney-at-law Christopher Ram says Guyana would be foolhardy to think if it would not suffer similar consequences if not transparent in dealing with the industry. To date, Ali Norris Vice President Jagdeer is ordered to release the Exxon's local content or production reports. These have remained hidden from public scrutiny despite calls by local and regional actors. When asked for his perspective on the importance of having these documents in the open, Ram was keen to note that accurate, timely, and relevant information is not only good for proper decision making, but also to meaningfully and informed debate and discussion involving the public at large. The chartered accountant said that unavailability of such information is critical and an area as the hugely significant petroleum sector. It is not only a negotiation of the principle fundamental to good and responsible government, but can also have grave intended and unintended consequences for the country. Meanwhile, the Irfan Ali-led administration has made good on its commitment to restart the process to construct the controversial 165-megawatt Myla Falls hydroelectrical project, along with the related transmission line to the Sophia substation and upgrading of the 122 kilometers of existing road, in addition to the construction of the 85 km leading to the site. The Office of the Prime Minister, which holds responsibility for the energy portfolio, yesterday formally advertised a request for proposals for either a 20-year build, own, operate, transfer model or a design, build, finance option. According to the request by the ministry, government is not bound to accept any response to the RPF and in fact reserves the right to select any parties for any specific element of the RFP and to annul the process at any time without further direction, without thereby incurring a liability to the affected parties. Additionally, according to the administration in its request, all pertinent information in possession of the government will be made available via a secure website upon completion of a confidentiality undertaking non-disclosure agreement. The Ministry of Agriculture, one day after confirming it was mulling scrapping the controversial National Drainage and Irrigation stockpiling or in excess of 300 steel piles sheets, announced that it has cancelled four other projects that it had also been retendering. The decision came amidst a flurry of major exposure by local independent media houses and was first reported by Kaieteur. The ministry in a public notice yesterday said it has cancelled the projects released to the construction of a pump station to irrigate the Blackbush frontlands in East Babis and a pump station at Cotton Maikoni, a farm to Market Road in Maikoni, and the construction of a drainage infrastructure in Georgetown. As it relates to the controversial steel piling sheet venture, the ministry in a public missive a day earlier noted that in fact considering scrapping the project altogether, while insisting that there is no mischief afoot with regards to the project. Justifying its position, it noted that the increase in global price surpassed its budgeted amount. Meanwhile, after more than 6 decades producing oil, Nigeria, thanks to the decision of its politicians, is drowning in $108 billion of debt. But in order to survive the dreaded coronavirus pandemic, Africa's biggest oil producer needs $11 billion in fresh loans from financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank to purchase basic medical and food supplies. Some financial institutions are hesitant to provide the African nation of more than 200 million people with more loans due to the rampant corruption by politicians. Be that as it may, the Natural Resource Governance Institute, which is closely following the crisis in Nigeria, in one of its analytical pieces, that the oil-rich countries such as Nigeria have clearly found themselves stuck between a rock of economic ruin and a hot place of environmental. But NRGI, one of the world's leading non-profit organization in improving countries' governance and other natural resources, firmly believes that all is not lost for Nigeria. It posits that the future of Nigeria lies in the weaning itself off of fossil fuel and preparing its economy for the energy transition that is taking place the world over. And you're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your main newscast. There is no need to invest in fossil fuel licenses or production infrastructure since in the near future, these will become stranded assets. Alternatively, investing in clean, affordable energy for all will improve the well-being of billions of people. It can create green jobs that we urgently need for COVID-19 recovery. It will advance all the development goals and in the single most important solution to advert climate. These were among the calls made by United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. He reaffirmed that solar are now the cheapest power source in the most countries and that renewable yields 3 times more jobs than the fossil fuel sector. According to the UN Secretary General, solar and wind are the stars of our energy system. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, they have been the only sources of energy that continue to grow, but is not nearly fast enough. Get the full details in Kaieteur News. A bandit who was caught on camera using a knife to rob a cop in front of Munishwars Limited in Water Street, Georgetown, received a song thrashing on Friday after he spat in the face of another police rank who was trying to arrest him. Police have since identified the man as a 21-year-old resident of Gayak squatting area, Georgetown. He received a song thrashing on Friday after he spat in the face of another police rank who was trying to arrest him. Police have since identified the man as a 21-year-old resident of Gayak. Police patrol were on the lookout for him after he has robbed one of their colleagues around 6 hours 45 that day of a haversack while he contained his police uniform, $12,000 and a cellular phone. The ranks were all at the time patrolling on motorcycles, spotted the bandit around 17 hours 30 in the vicinity of High and Hatfield Streets and decided to arrest him. He decided to run towards the Stabrook Market area but was eventually cornered by 3 of the ranks. A video recording of the arrest showed that they tried to place him in handcuffs, but he resisted, forcing them to brace him against the wall at a nearby Demico house. Instead of complying with the ranks, the knife bandit spat in the face of one of the arrested ranks. This forced the cop to retaliate with force and resulted in the bandit receiving headbutt and cuff to his face. Meanwhile, 4 juveniles yesterday made a daring escape from the Sophia Juvenile Holding Center through a wooden ceiling. However, they were recaptured minutes later by police ranks. According to a report from the Guyana Police Force, the youngsters, who were housed in cells 3 and 4 at the facility, decided to make good their escape around 2 hours 45 yesterday. Police revealed that the boys broke the padlocks that were used to secure the sealed doors and removed some wooden from the ceiling. Ranks, who were on duty at the facility, reported that they heard a loud noise upon making checks, noticed that 4 juvenile offenders were missing. They informed the other ranks of what had happened, and one of them soon after noticed the 4 escapees on Dennis Street. One of the ranks chased after the offenders, but they were able to make their way to Pike Street, Camerville, Georgetown. A police patrol was informed that the 4 offenders were recaptured in Prashad Nagar, also in the capital city, and taken to the Brickdam police station. And that's the end of your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and the 99.5 FM. But before we go, here's a recap. Here's time for us to turn our attention of the page 7 of the Kaieteur News. The Natural Resources Minister says his government is committed to net zero emission by 2050. But Guyanese already know that commitments by Guyanese governments means nothing, simply a pack of politicians making empty promises that they never intend to keep. Net zero emission by 2050 is the latest. Meanwhile, the oversight EPA is useless. Exxon is flaring, and Guyana's politicians are laughing, while they gamble our wealth away and try to deceive us into believing it is all for good. And that's the news to the moment. My name is Joshua Van Slykeman. Thank you for joining us.